The northeastern community of Babonneau is rich in cultural, human and natural resources. Today, we take a glimpse into this melting pot as we speak with residents who are doing their part to ensure that Babonneau thrives as the industrious, beautiful and peaceful community it is known as. This is your community with me, Adhara King. Welcome to Babonneau. We're here in Babonneau enjoying the fresh air, the trees, the ambience. Here in the rainforest, we're at the Skyrise with the Social Transformation Officer for Babonneau, Mrs. Urania Joseph. Urania, you know this is your community in Babonneau, and it's literally your community because you are the Social Transformation Officer. So tell the people a little bit about what it is that you do here in your community.
Okay, first of all, let me welcome you to my community, Adhara, and our gentleman, our cameraman. It's a pleasure having you in my community in Babonneau. I am the Community Development Officer, or the Social Transformation Officer. And some of my responsibilities are working in the community with groups, organizations, individuals, institutions, basically serving as a liaison officer between the central government and the local government authority. Babonneau is very fortunate in that the community is quite diverse, geographically spread, very dense in forestry. The flora and the fauna is very unique. So we here in Babonneau, we are very fortunate and we are lucky today to be at the Skyride Forest.
Yes, we are. So tell me, how did you get involved in community development? Is it a passion that always existed in you? How did you get into that?
Well, I must say I started off in the hospitality industry and then I shifted to community development. And since then, it has become a passion. And a passion being that if you don't have passion, then you will not be able to endure the risk. Because there's certain aspects of community development, it must be passion driven. You must have a love for the work. And I think because of that, I find myself for 17 years being a social transformation officer.
All right. Now we're about to head into the community to speak with some of our community development activists, some people that you have directed me to. Tell me some of the unique features you have seen in the involvement and the community development activities in Babonneau since you've been here.
Okay, Babonneau, like I said earlier, is quite fortunate, and there are a number of community-based organizations. Some of them have been dormant, but some of them have been very, very active over the years. And we have groups that focus on youth development, on the environment, on the social issues, because they see themselves as the social change agents. And by virtue of that, they work in the community on a daily basis. They try to empower the people in various ways by engaging the community, by engaging individuals in various aspects. One of the groups involved in Adopt a River, and it's an environmental project where they saw it was necessary to sort of curb the drying up of our rivers and the pollution and what's happening in upstream affect those at the lower stream. And they engage in an activity where they receive funding from UNDP Jeff, and so far they've been doing very, very well. We also have another group that's engaged in a similar intervention, but they're looking at the turtles and they're looking at the biodiversity of the community in Debara. And this is a group that has been they have started for a number of years now. And to date, they are now sort of developing themselves. They have empowered themselves where they have formed themselves into a group. They have gotten funding from the same Jeff UNDP, and they're trying to develop livelihoods around the turtle watching activities. It has been a challenge for them, but if we come together as a community, I think we will endure and we will sort of see the whole impact of the project.
And Babonneau people seem to be very involved in preserving the environment and in making use of the natural resources that Babonneau has in abundance. So that's something that I'm looking forward to seeing here today as I'm in your community in Babonneau. Stay tuned, this is your community, we're in Babonneau. The Ministry of Social Transformation, Local Government and Community Empowerment is making it a little easier to care for your special child. The National Grant for Children with Disabilities is here for you. To apply, please note that your child must suffer from a severe disability, meaning that he or she can't see, hear, talk, walk, or a combination of two or more. Fill out an application. You can get one at the council office in your constituency, Social Transformation Regional Offices, the Blind Welfare Association, and Child Development Centers island-wide. Once your application is complete, you will be referred to the nearest healthcare facility for evaluation. When your child has been examined by the doctor, your application will be processed. When it is approved, you will be contacted. You will receive your disbursement through your bank or credit union account. The National Grant for Children with Disabilities, a special gift for your special child. I'm here in Fort Latisab in the community of Babonneau, immersed in the sound of the chirping birds and the flowing waters. Very peaceful and serene here, I must say. This is Mr. Adhara Edward, who is the president of the Babonneau Youth Synergy Group. Thank you for agreeing to be a guest on our show today, and thank you for taking me to this beautiful place. How are you feeling today?
It's quite humid though, but as much as Babonneau is very lush, I must say that the temperatures now the temperature rather is really kicking, and of course we all know during this time of year we're facing a dry period, right? So that's really taking its toll, right? But all in all, it's a wonderful day.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be disturbing the birds that are around us there. It's refreshing to have this sound in the middle of the day because, you know, I work in cash trees, so I don't get this very often. So tell our viewers about yourself, introduce yourself, give us an idea of what it is that you're involved in Babonneau as the president of the Youth Synergy Group.
All right, so my name is Adhara Edward, and I'm again the president of Babonneau Youth Synergy. We've been existing for just about 5 years now, but we really got off the ground over 3 years now. We got registered under the Ministry of Social Transformation. We actually work with the young persons. Our main objective is to mobilize, develop, and empower young persons. All right. We also try to interconnect with the elderly, persons from all walks of life. Of course, our ultimate goal as a group is to emerge into a business, you know, where we could create employment for our unemployed members along with persons outside of the group. But of course, our group is a very, very, very active one. Our members are more than willing to do almost anything, and that I'm very much thankful for.
All right. Now, you mentioned that you're very active. You've been making news recently. I know you received funding from Jeff to undertake a project in your community. Give me some information on that and how that's going so far.
All right. Well, so far so good. The project is actually called Adopt a River, and it's one that relates to a tree planting project. But we also will be focusing on riverbank rehabilitation. We are looking at sustaining the water quantity and water quality because we realize that our waters are slowly depreciating. We're also focusing on restoring the river ecosystem, right? Because of course gone are the days when we could have gone to the river to catch crayfish and fish and all of that, and most of that would lead to the cause of that would actually be the disposal of solid waste materials like oils and chemicals and all of that, you know, slowly killing off the life forms in the river. So these are some of the areas that we want to focus on our project. So far, we've received just about 50,000 US from Jeff, but ultimately the total budget is over 100,000 US. So we're trying to source out funding from other areas, especially the private and other public sector agencies, right? But just so far we've received just about 50,000 US.
Okay, so you as a group have taken it upon yourself to do something in your community that you believe is important to sustain your natural resources. How important do you think it is for community groups like yours, and what role do you think that they have to play in the general development of a community?
Community groups for me are totally beneficial, especially to any person who is serious about it. Basically because it helps with your positive self-development as an individual, right? We started as an ordinary group and never foreseeing that we would be sitting in the likes of, well, among the likes of, with Dr. Stephen King, Adrian Auger, Mrs. Bird. We've actually sat down at forums with all of these top high-ranking persons, right? Community
So
group.
you feel that your voice is being heard by different sectors of society in fora where you would not normally have a voice?
Yes, totally. Because as we speak, I could gladly tell you that we sit on the steering committees of the Ianola project, right? We also sit on the steering committee of the CSO coalition, which is actually spearheaded by the St. Lucia National Trust, right? So we do speak out as a community group. So this is one of the benefits that community organizations can have. So I would advocate for any young person whatsoever, to be a part of a community organization, right? Because you get the opportunity to go very far, right? Not too long ago, I personally got the opportunity to travel to Dominica to undertake, to do a project, actually, a workshop, sorry. It's a cocoa production workshop, right? And speaking of which, cocoa is one of the trees that we will be focusing on a lot. And enrolling from our tree planting project.
So in addition to doing conservation, you're also doing agricultural diversification. So there's a lot going on here in Babonneau with your group.
Oh yes, very much so. And that project again is a very diverse one because like I was advocating earlier, we want to purchase about 2 acres of land where we'll be planting primarily cocoa, right? And it's our very intention to set up a ferment plant, where we would process the cocoa beans, ship them to the UK, and even to have a small factory where we could process our own chocolate. So pretty soon we'd have our own branded chocolate in Babonneau. And also we could emulate what is going on down in Soufrière, where, we could bring in tourists to experience the cocoa dance, because I think this is one of the things that they really enjoy, right? So pretty soon this is going to be happening for us, right? And it's all because of being part of a community organization like ours. So this is one of the opportunities where the young persons can capitalize on, and I would strongly advocate for any young person to be part of a community organization.
All right. Before you brought us here, we stopped off at a plot of land where you told me some information about plans that your group has for that area. Can you give our audience an idea of the acquisition that you've made and how it works within the grand scheme of the project that you're undertaking?
Okay. Right. So earlier I mentioned Jeff and Ianola, and they're the one helping us along with our project. And part of the project is that we to acquire some land, be it for renting, leasing, or buying, where we'd set up a permanent nursery, right? And then we'd be able now to plant trees and also sell trees, providing for all of the rivers in the whole Babonneau constituency, right? So there again, employment is enrolled, because definitely we would need persons to man the trees, persons to water the trees, take care of the trees. We'd also have an office space. We need persons, to sit in the office and do all of that. So there you have it.
I realize that you're doing a lot on the ground in Babonneau, and you seem to be very active. You have a lot of ideas, there are a lot of programs and projects that you're engaging in. What is the reception on the ground? What's the feedback from the people that you engage in your community?
We've been very much welcomed, I must say. I mean, in anything that you do, you know, persons will like you, persons will not, right? But overall, we've been doing a lot in terms of giving back to the communities, and that most persons actually appreciate, right? And that's what we're most known for.
Giving back how?
All right. Boy, we've done a lot. I could tell you, we've done a lot for the 3 years that we've been on the ground. We've been able to hand out hampers to the elderly. Every year, we give out backpacks to the needy children of the entire. All the schools in Babonneau actually. We give hand out backpacks to some of these kids. We organize football tournaments. We do fundraising for persons who are sick. Just about 2 months ago, we donated actually a wheelchair to a gentleman who has not been able to move for about 14 years. And up to this morning, I saw him and he was telling me that he is so happy that he's finally able to just go and meet up with his friend that he has not seen for ever so long, you know, and thanks to that.
Wow. I wish I had more time to sit here and speak with you. I'm sorry we have to come to an end now, but I can see that there is a lot going on. You have a lot of plans for your community and for your resources, and that's something that's important, is to use what you have in order to build and to look out for the future of the people in your community. So thank you once again for joining us on Your Community. I hope to see you again soon in action. Every time I have a guest on the show, I tell them I'm coming back to see you in action, because I get a feel for what's going on in the community, and you know you want to come back. So thank you for viewing. This is Your Community. We'll be right back.
If we could save our children, we'd solve so many problems. This is your call to action. Join social transformation. Help save a mind, save a child. With life skills or academics, it's all worthwhile. Help save a mind, save a child. Mentoring or music, it's all worthwhile. Come help save a mind, save a child.
This is Ronald Bohingson, inviting you to join the Ministry of Social Transformation, Local Government and Community Empowerment in support of the Community After School Program. For more information, call 451-9042.
You save a mind, you save a child. Volunteer your time, it's worth your while.
We're here in Kako, Babonneau, with two representatives from the Rural Women's Network who are going to speak with us. The rest of them are busy working on their farms, their plots of land. This is Anne-Marie Spencer and Mrs. Virginia Paul. Thank you for deciding to take part in our program here today. How are you feeling?
You're welcome.
Okay, my dear, welcome to Kako.
All right, thank you. How did the Rural Women's Network come about? How did you decide that this is a group you wanted to start in your community?
Well, we all started because we had some excess fruits and thing, and we didn't know exactly what to do with it. It was just wasting. So they said they had a meeting, and we decided to go and take part and hear what this is.
Okay. Ms. Spencer, tell me what sort of vegetables you have in your garden, and how is it working out for you so far?
Presently I'm planting celery, parsley, lettuce, chives, thyme, sometimes cucumbers, and you know how it is already. Sometimes the sale is very nice and sometimes it is not nice at all. But all in all, I'm coping.
Speaking of sale, how do you all sell your produce?
Well, usually by the central market.
In town?
Central market.
I also.
What about the community of Babonneau? How are they familiar with what you are doing? How are they receiving you? What sort of help are you getting in the community?
Well, more or less, everybody in the community is almost doing the same thing, one way or the other. If it's not egg farming, it's poultry, but everybody's taking part in something. So definitely we have to look outside of Babonneau for our produce to sell.
Okay, so Babonneau is a community where you find a lot of agriculture going
Yes,
on.
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right. The Rural Women's Network, I also know that you go into agro-processing. Are you two involved in the agro-processing aspect of that?
Yes, yes, we are.
Okay, give me some more information.
Presently, we are doing dry fruits like carambola, tawari, golden apple, when the fruits are in season.
So what do you do with the fruits?
We do dry fruits.
Oh, you do dry, and then
You
you,
can
you
make-
just sell the dry fruits to the supermarket? What
Not
else
to
do
the
you-
market,
As yet.
not to the market as yet. We sell it to on a low profile to people, and they buying it to do
Especially
the,
as we buy the market. You know, we have customers, introduce it to them and things.
especially on Christmas time. They usually buy to make the fruit cake.
fruitcakes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to go around now. I see you have some other members. We're going to go to the farm and see what's going on in Babonneau. This is the Rural Women's Network of Babonneau, and they're doing a lot in the community. So we're happy to have you here with us, and we're going to go see what's going on the farm.
You're welcome.
We are now in a place called Wezina in the community of Babonneau, in Gara Babonneau to be exact. And I am with Bersha Ogi. She's a born and raised, how would we say that? Gara Rini? All right, Bersha, thanks for deciding to accept our invitation to be on your community today. How are you feeling?
Feeling good, feeling good. I'm happy you guys here.
Yes, the weather isn't treating us so well, but
I think
Babonneau,
it's showers of blessings.
I think so too. And Babonneau is nice regardless. Rain, sun,
Very true.
good to go. All right, so you're involved in a lot in the community. Let's go through the list. Let's go through the list of organizations that you're active in now.
Presently, I'm the president of the Gara Youth Dynamic Organization. I'm also the vice president, of the Gara Development Committee. I'm treasurer of Babonneau Youth and Sports Council, and also the chairperson for the Babonneau Football League. I also mentor and just dive in anything to do with youth development. I'm here.
How do you find time to do all of that? Because everybody's always complaining that they don't have enough time for themselves, far less to be able to give back, and you find time to do these things. How do you find the time?
I think last year was basically a testimony of me really wanting to follow my true dream in terms of community work. After many years of working and really leaving work real late, last year I got a transfer which allowed me a lot of time after work to actually diving into community work. I have 2 kids. The kids are always with me, sometimes 11:30, 12 o'clock in the night after a football tournament. My kids are with me, and we get up the next morning and we dive in again. So it's all about balancing, and if it's your passion, it just comes natural.
What does the term community mean to you?
It means all of us coming together in order to build and nurture something. It could be maybe our young kids, the environment or something. But I believe it's all of us just coming together in order to just build a warm and exciting environment.
You mentioned that you're into mentoring and mentorship. What does that mean to you, and what impact has that had on your life that you find it important to do?
It has had a great impact because it also allows you as a human being to grow also. While you might be thinking that you're giving back to somebody, you also learning through that process also. And we have a lot of young and vulnerable persons within our community that sometimes just need a listening ear or someone just to tell them basically this is the right path to take. And coming from a community of Gara where we have a lot of young girls who seldom most probably will go to their parents for some sort of guidance and whatnot, and what we and our different groups have been able to do is be there as some sort of standing organization to actually help them dive in and build themselves, to prepare themselves for the outer world and I guess enrich on a whole.
All right. Now the rain is chasing us, so I think we're going to have to get out of the rain now. But thank you once again. This is your community in Babonneau. Bush and I are getting out of the rain now.
I made a stupid mistake.
See where it's now landed me.
My baby's now behind bars.
Feels forgotten by society.
It's time for us to make a change.
All of us make a change.
Juvenile Justice Reform Project.
All of
Us make a change.
make a change.
Instead of incarceration, y'all, let's try diversion, reform, rehabilitation.
Our youth needs a second chance
Beyond
beyond
bars,
bars.
a world that accepts them with open arms.
It's nice to know that you're here.
Just know that we care.
This time we'll do our part.
Let's all make a fresh start.
It's time for us to make a change. Juvenile Justice Reform Project, a new path to changing lives for good, funded by USAID and the OECS Secretariat.
As we wrap up our program here in Babonneau today, our Social Transformation Officer, Mrs. Joseph, is going to give us some insight into activities to look forward to coming up in Babonneau. What do you have on your calendar coming up for us?
Okay. Babonneau is a unique community, and I think to a certain extent the community-based organizations have organized themselves into taking collective actions on issues that are affecting the community. And I think when we speak about community development and we speak about community-based organizations, we think of the opportunities, the policies, the legislative framework that is set by government to encourage such an activity. And we've realized that unemployment is very high in the community, and we're trying to embark on various activities, interventions that would create an opportunity for young persons and parents and women to get involved in an income generating activity. We have a Babonneau Breadfruit Festival coming up on July the 31st, and we're hoping that persons can come in and participate and support the initiative. The long term is that it will become a monthly activity where persons will come in and sit down and enjoy breadfruit prepared in different ways and in different with different meat and what have you. So we're encouraging persons to come to Babonneau July the 31st, and that will be the sort of program for Emancipation Day, August the 1st.
All right, Breadfruit Festival. That one is unique. Look for it, Breadfruit Festival in Babonneau. This is your community, Babonneau. Thanks for watching. Your Community is a production of the Ministry of Social Transformation, Local Government and Community Empowerment to highlight people, groups or businesses who contribute to social development where they live or operate. Through this program, we hope to inspire, connect and motivate community leaders and activists in promoting national development on the ground. I'm your presenter, Adhara King. Thanks for watching and look out for us soon in your community.